Hello.
All right, we are live. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Wealth Check Wednesday. We come together here every Wednesday to share some things about our industry that we absolutely love. So I'm pulling the banner down. And I'm really grateful to have my two colleagues, Angel Chandler, Paul Capozio. Angel is a veteran of the industry. She's an author. She's a speaker. She's an amazing trainer, and I get to work with her, and I get to work with Paul. Paul is this is his first time in this industry. He's a Wall Street guy. Built a company to 1.5 billion. Do I have that correct, Paul? Yeah, and this is his first time in the industry after saying no for years, and he has created incredible success here. So these are the two people that I get to work with. Bye, Paul. And, so today we wanted to talk about. It's kind of funny that we do laugh together a lot, but it's kind of funny because we want to talk today about association, about who your community is, who are the people that are on your bus, who do you surround yourself with, because it makes a huge difference. So I would really love to hear from both of you. Share a little bit about what your life was like, and maybe what the industry of home-based business, direct sales, has added to your life. Angel, if you would share first.
Absolutely. So, my life before network marketing was I was a paralegal. I was, it was a good career. It was a great career. We shared in a podcast a couple of weeks ago that I started in finance, went into being a paralegal. It was kind of a whirlwind of where you end up with your talents, and you discover that as you go along. So it was a great career. However, it was real estate law. It was 12 to 14-hour days in the summer. In my 20s, I watched my summers disappear. And, I got pregnant with my first child at 27, my second at 34. And that is when I was introduced to network marketing. And so up until that point, my mind was really set on, okay, this is going to be my capped income. I know how much I can make. I'm now a top paralegal. What else can I do? Not really much. There's not any time left to do anything. And so when I was introduced to network marketing, that's really when the, I guess, expectations of what I could do with my life really kind of got blown up for me. And I wasn't thinking that way, and it wasn't anybody's fault. And I don't think that that's abnormal. I think that that's the way a lot of people think when they're doing the 9 to 5 or the 9 to 9 or the 5 to 5 or whatever it is you're working. So for me, it was just, it was that. And then it was the personal development. It was understanding the power of our mind, understanding the power of our words, what network marketing actually introduces you to in personal development, and books that you read, and videos that you listen to, and webinars that you attend, and people that you connect with. And I know that's a part of the conversation today. So I'm really excited about that. So, but then I did go away for a couple of years. I had some great success, and things fell apart, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to do this anymore. The personal development continued. My training continued. My growth continued, but I wasn't sure. So I'm different than Paul, but I'm similar to the fact that I said no, 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 no to coming back for a couple of years until I met Paul Capozio. So that's a little bit of my story, and I'll let him tell his.
So a little bit about the story is less important than what I've learned, because I think my story's out there. If you want to listen to podcasts or you want to go to some of our previous events, whatever, and I don't want to bore you with it because I think the girls' stories are much more creative, much more interesting. I was a typical Wall Street guy, and you wouldn't have liked me back then. I talk about how network marketing made me go from the me mentality to the we mentality. And it's really true. It's really, really true, because it's a different environment. The way I make my living now is completely upside down to the way we made a living on Wall Street. Oh, we lost Peg, but I'll keep going. The biggest issue she talked about a little bit is community. And I think that one of the things I want to get at, Angel, you did a good job of that journey and how we take pauses and things like that. And that is a great story of the individuals that we're dealing with every day. I mean, if I see another network marketing person who says, I'll never do network marketing again, and then all of a sudden they come back into network marketing, right? So we know that people's feelings change about their careers, people's feelings change about the industry, people's feelings change about a lot of things, relationships, everything, right? So I think to answer Peg's question about the community side of things, I look at this business when I originally started. I had a teacher who was a really heavy recruiter, and I put 125, 128 people in my first 6 months in the business, mostly through LinkedIn. I recruited a lot of people I should have never recruited. I forced a lot of people into business that I shouldn't have forced into the business, and I sold the sizzle, and I never delivered the steak in that first couple of months. But I built a big business, right? We were six-figure earners in the first 5-6 months of that business. I made six figures. But what I did learn is that if you treat this business like a chessboard, and I say this quite often, and if you've heard it before, good. It means you're plugging into us. You're either plugging into us on our Monday night calls or on our Saturday calls or on Peg's live broadcast. But if you heard me say the chessboard, every chess piece is important and valuable to be able to achieve checkmate. No, you must start off with the equal number of pawns and bishop and knights and rooks and a king and a queen, and you need all of those. And when you're building your business, most people try to recruit a king or a queen, maybe the occasional bishop or rook, right? But there's pawns. There's so many other more important people to bring into this business, because there are people that are not looking to make six figures, or maybe they just don't believe they can make six figures. So those are the people you need to work with as well. Look, the top producers, the kings, the queens, the bishops, they're going to do this with you or without you. Create an environment that's attractive for them. And we'll talk about this on a later broadcast, Peg, about how a newbie can recruit a whale, right? Because it's very more than possible, because I've done it and everybody on this call has done it. So that's a whole nother training in itself. But people forget about the thousands upon thousands, 65 million people that are looking to make a couple extra bucks, 65 million people or more right now looking to outpace inflation within the US and Canada. So those are our community. Those are the people we need to be communicating with, as much as trying to bet. Look, if you're fishing, right? And if you know anything about deep sea fishing, you'll go out and you put the small poles in the water first, and you catch bait fish, right? Or you catch the smaller fish with those reels. While you do that, you set that up when you're trolling for a whale or a shark or any kind of big game fish like a swordfish. Now, I'm not trying to demean the people who first come into the business, but when you first come in, you're a small fish. You don't know anything about the business. You don't know what you don't know, but you need to bring them into the boat. While then you set the big poles and the outriggers out on a fishing boat to catch and troll for the game fish, the swordfish, those big fish, right? You're doing both simultaneously. And let me tell you something. You know, the smaller fish can be very satisfying. Take a young child on a boat and you get them to catch their first fish. And that's what this business is like. Right? So don't forget. And again, please don't take the analogy wrong that if you're just getting started, you're some little bait fish that we're going to feed you to the sharks. That's not what I meant by that. Read between the lines. What you need to do is realize that everyone has to start somewhere. And we talk about the 5 pillars and why and how and all of that stuff. So that's what I really think. I think the chessboard analogy is the best way I can give you, is that you need all the pieces. So bring in all the pieces into your business. Yeah. Sorry I went long there, but I thought it was kind of important.
No. My favorite part, you wouldn't have gotten into it if you didn't go long. My favorite part was when, showing a child how to fish and watching them catch their first fish, right? And bringing that person in, that person that I was at the beginning of my career. When I got my first customer, like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. This works. This is a business. That's that first win is so exciting for people. So, what I love about this industry is that the people that it brings into your life is something that comes with it. But it's also the people that it brings into your life is something you need, like something you need to attach yourself to, something you need to get around. I just want to share, I have a quick quote I would love to share. Hang on just one sec here. So I love this quote because it really speaks a lot to me. Surround yourself with the dreamers and the doers, believers and thinkers, but most of all, surround yourself with those who see the greatness within you even when you don't see it yourself. And I think that's what we get from this, but it's also what we get to turn around and give. So if I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, Angel.
Well, this for me changed everything, because I wasn't surrounding myself with these people, and I didn't even know I wasn't. It wasn't an intentional decision. It's just what happens in life sometimes, you know. Once I started, and what's really cool about this profession, this industry, I didn't have to be physically present with anybody to be able to surround myself with these people. I'm up in Canada, I'm in Winnipeg, I'm listening, you know, I've got 2 young kids, I'm listening to webinars. At that point, I was turning on Network Marketing Pro every single morning. I'm cooking, listening to Mindset, I'm hanging around, I'm buying courses. I'm getting in circles that I'm not present in. My entire teams were built from Winnipeg in the US, and I wasn't even there, right? So my circle changed into, and so much so that even family and friends would be like, how do you think these are your friends? How do you think this is your circle? And it's like 100% it is. I'm surrounding myself with people. And what that did for me is, not only did I start to surround myself with those people, I decluttered the people that I didn't need. And it happens without even choosing to do so in some situations. And then in others, it was like, oh my gosh, like, you cannot be in my space anymore. So it can be a lonely journey at sometimes when you look at it that way. But it was so beneficial to me to change my circle. If I hadn't, I really don't know where I'd be. I'd still be probably working at the law office, and my kids would have been in daycare. And, you know, I'd definitely still be a single mom, but I'd be out of the house for who knows how many hours a day. So, you know, my life would have been totally different. But instead, I was encouraged by people who were like, see more, do more, be more. But not only that, just exactly as that quote said, I see more in you, and this is what I see. And then that gave me the capability over the 12 years to be able, and it was probably about 4 or 5 years in, where I was able to speak and say that to other people. Hey, I see this in you. And they'd be like, how do you see that? It's like, hey, I see it. You're going to be this. You can do this. How can we take your talents to make money? How can I help you to build your brand? Like, that's what ended up happening, because that had been poured into me. I was like this dry little plant with like the seed that wasn't growing, and I got watered and I grew. And then all I wanted to do was water other seeds, right? And watch them grow. So I think this is the epitome of what we do. Who cares about the money and the products and everything else? That's all great and that's beneficial and that's everywhere. But what we do and how we build people with the circles that they surround themselves. Some people, that's all they need. Some people are just here because of the community, right? They just need that support. They just need those words of encouragement, that little bit of growth, because they're not getting it at home. And they might not change their circumstances, and they may not ask for it, but that you may be the one person that speaks that into them every day, every week, every month. It doesn't matter, but they need to hear it. Everybody's worthy of that. And that's what we do.
Yeah. Yeah. I Angel, what you said about not someone saying, well, how can you see that in me? We all have that blind spot, right? And whether it's something good we're not seeing in ourselves, or something bad we're not, maybe a weakness, maybe something that needs work. But being around people who will see your potential and push you towards it, rather than seeing your potential and pulling you back down to their level. Like, who are those people? And you were saying people kind of automatically weeded themselves out of your life, or people left. You needed that to make room, right? I use the analogy, who's the people on your bus? Your bus only has so many seats, right? So if you don't make the room, you don't have to fill the seats automatically all of a sudden. But if you don't have the room in your life, there's only so much time in a day that you can spend with so many people. So spending it with those people who are really, helping you and seeing you, right? Paul, I'd love for you to share your thoughts on that.
So I two things come to mind. One is about this why thing that everybody talks about, the why, right? And I think it's confusing to a lot of people. And the other thing is, about those people who are looking for community. Part of leadership is not the dictatorship of telling people what to do, whatever. It's finding that diamond in the rough inside of everybody. And I will tell you, after coaching so many people and working with so many people, and I will tell you, the majority of them will give up on themselves. They don't see it, no matter how hard you try to make them look in the mirror, but you can see it as a leader. If you're an honest, fair leader, where you are honestly looking at that other person and what's truly best for them. And the beauty of this business is what's best for them is what's best for you. And what do I mean by that? Well, if it's best for them to quit, right? Because they have, for some reason, they just can't make it work or whatever, and they'll believe that they'll never be successful, that's good for you. And it's good for them because they could move on. Sometimes getting to know is more important quickly than it is to get to maybe and languish in maybe for years and years and years. The other thing is when you find someone and you see inside them and you bring out the best part of them, all of a sudden, and it could take time, it could take years. So when you're a leader, you need to be able to manage the expectation for the person that you're coaching or bringing along, and manage the expectation for yourself so that you're not frustrated, because a frustrated leader is a horrible, horrible leader. Not everyone is going to be a superstar right out of the gate. And if you don't take the time to work on a couple of, remember when I used to say, Peg, no social work. We're not doing social work here, right? But there are times when you're going to pick people that you know and you see that have that capability, and you run with them and you run hard with them and you keep showing them. And sometimes instead of trying to teach them about your comp plan or teach them about your product or your ingredients, you may be plugging them into personal development, or working with them on personal development, or watching a Tony Robbins video with them live on Zoom. The other thing is the whole why myth. Okay. And I know I'm going to piss off a ton of network marketing leaders and trainers and coaches, and your why must make you cry. Listen, if you're having trouble defining your why or believing in your why, or your why that you think that thing on the refrigerator, the stupid Ferrari picture on the refrigerator that you never even wanted a Ferrari. If you didn't want a Ferrari when you were 5 years old, you don't want a Ferrari, right? If you didn't want to be a cowboy or an astronaut when you were 5, right? So here's the deal. Because most people do it as an impulse buy, or they do it for someone else. They buy a Ferrari for someone else to show them how great they are. So what I'm going to tell you, and that goes away, guys, when you finally get your success and you start making millions of dollars and becoming a multiple 7-figure earner in network marketing, something weird happens. You blow some money, and then you realize, if I really want to make this work, I'm going to really realize what's important in life. Otherwise, you'll never do it again. There's so many broke millionaires in this industry that I've met and worked with. How many people telling me I've made $7 million in the business, but can you do me a favor? Can you lend me money for my spot? Right? So here's what I'm going to tell you. Your why, if it's not really motivating you, that's okay, because you probably don't believe you deserve it. If your why, no matter what it is, or you're having trouble defining it, or, the picture on the refrigerator isn't getting it done, and it doesn't get you to take action or do the 5/5 and building your pipeline and talking to people, it means you're just not ready yet for your why. So the pain of not having something is got to become greater than, oh my God, I'm a network marketer, right? And eventually you'll start to believe that you can have a why. So if your why is not working for you, you just don't believe you deserve it yet. And that's work that we can do here on this call. Peg, I would love to do this call one day where we could take questions from the audience or whatever. I think that would be really great. Or, eventually I think we'll do this, or do it some other way, some other mechanism. But, I know there's people that are watching this that are like, oh my God, that's right. My why is not doing crap for me. And it's because you really don't believe it's possible. I'll hand it back to you guys. Thank you, Peg. You're muted, Peg.
There we go. That's a really good point, Paul. I if you're watching right now, and I think there are some people that are in this industry watching right now. We've got some great comments coming in, and thank you for being on. Thank you for your support. We would love for you to ask questions. We'd love for you to come on with us sometime too. And if you are, like, what are some things that the people, the associations have done for you? Because for me, it has made all the change in the world. It's made all the difference in the world to get to spend time with people that inspire me, to see to see myself in a different way, right? To see that I can grow into another version of myself, that maybe the people in my world, in my local network, they're not used to that version that I've outgrown, right? But to spend time with people who inspire me and we're lifting each other up, that's made the most difference to me of anything. It's changed me into seeing myself as a leader. You know, something Danny said the other night, if you don't see yourself as that top leader, you will never, if you don't see yourself, you know, and I've said that to myself, I don't know how many times. I mean, I have my phone, my Siri calls me by the name of the rank that I want to be, you know, but what Danny said was, if you don't see yourself there. So being around, you know, people who just remind you of that, remind you of where you need to be, right? So jump in, you guys. I want to continue this conversation. I really do want to get people on here, Paul. I think that's a really great idea. You know, we've got Nancy's on and Brooke is on, and being able to bring them on to, we've got Nancy, Brooke, Christy. I would love to have those people on. So what are your thoughts on
So I think it's important to get different viewpoints, right? I think it's important. You're okay, Peg?
yes,
Good to go?
I squirreled.
Oh, you squirrel. No, it's okay, because I think that, I mean, I kind of gave you the reason to squirrel. And I think it's important to let us know that, look, this is not I hate those people who get on and they'll just talk and they don't want to hear anybody else's opinion or whatever. And I don't mind dissenting views. I know a lot of people that all they care about is recruit. And then they're the same type of people you say, well, I'm in this company now and then I'm never going to do network marketing again. Guess what? I finally found the company that's got me interested in network marketing again. And that destroys the people who are underneath you. It destroys your integrity and look, if you didn't do the right work to find where you belong and you made an impulse buy or an impulse join, or you did it because your girlfriend joined or whatever, that's no basis for a real business. And what you need to understand is, if you're going to build in network marketing, I don't care about affiliate, I don't care if you're a customer gatherer, but if you're going to build a team, right? You damn well have a responsibility to those people to make sure you're building a solid foundation. Now, maybe there are other builders who built bigger and faster than me or whatever. And I'm not going to go through all the stories or whatever, but I've seen the people who have the integrity, who pick their company, who go through the ups and downs to seem to be a better place for their team. And based on our comp plan, based on most comp plans that have any kind of either a check match or a legacy bonus, it's all about that. It's all about building up people. I say it all the time. It's their paycheck guarantees your paycheck. So that's one of the things I see. So maybe we may be not everyone's taste in training and coaching. We talk. I always talk about, stop selling the sizzle and start giving these people the steak. Stop smell. I took a picture in a restaurant today and it said, smell this or something like, I don't know what I don't want this to come out wrong. So hold on. So the restaurant said, the thing said, free smells, right? So you ever get somebody orders fajitas and it comes sizzling out on the plate, right? It's really hot and it's sizzling and it smells really good and the whole restaurant turns around, right? Or when somebody's a birthday and they got the little piece of cake, but it's got that huge sparkler candle in it, it attracts a lot of attention, right? But the only person eating that piece of cake is the person with the birthday, or maybe the person with the birthday and all the people at the table. Everybody else in the restaurant is like, they think it's something great, but how does it benefit them? And I think this business is a lot like that. I think a lot of people are walking around with sparkly candles sticking out of cake, and they're the only one eating the cake. I think there's a lot of people, walking around, with fajitas in their hand on the tray, and they're never letting anyone else eat them. And that is why especially in the US, I don't care who you talk to, US numbers are down. And if anybody tells you they're not, don't feel bad if your US numbers are down. Okay, don't feel bad. It's what the industry is going through right now. Yeah, you may have a great month, you may have a great week. We did some really, really great numbers leading into our trip. But you'll notice that the people who wind up going there, most of the faces we saw there this year, Peg, were the faces we saw there last year, right? So it's really about you, not the marketplace, not the timing, not anything else. If you've made the right choice, if you've followed the 5 pillars training that we all do, right? If you follow the 5/5, if you do all of that boring stuff, when we teach about go for boring, you'll build a life-changing income. If not, you're chasing this mystery of network marketing. I can't figure it out what it is. I don't know how they did it, and I don't know what I'm doing. And it seems like the grass seems so much greener over there. Well, maybe their septic tank overflowed, and that's why the grass is so green over there this week. Okay, I'll pass it back to you guys.
No, I like what you said, Paul, about chasing the grass that's greener, because it's chasing the grass that's greener, switching to another company, or seeing somebody doing this kind of marketing. Oh, I got to do this. It's, or I've got to go to that platform. It's not that, right? It's sticking to one thing. And like you said, go for boring.
If you did all those original choices right, if you wound up somewhere because you made some sort of an impulse buy, right? It's the network marketing equivalent of a one-night stand. Right? You're like, oh my God, what did I do? Who am I waking up with? Because this is not anything real. Right? And most people do regret that, So I hate to say it. I know that's a real Jersey kind of sleazy analogy, but it's kind of what it really is. So if you've made all the right choices up to that point, right company, right timing, right this, right that, based on some of the other trainings we do, go find those trainings. Then you could say, okay, so do people switch from time to time? Yeah, if you didn't realize it's a good fit. So examine where you are, and then find the thing that fits you, and then stick there, because your people are watching you. And Peg, you and I worked together for 5 years, 6 years or so. I would really say the last 2 years, you've really, really found, I don't mean it in a disrespectful way, but you're completely much bigger of a leader, and more confident of a leader, and more capable of a leader, and more worth following. You just had one of your TikToks just had almost 80,000 views and 800 people going to your website. That's real stuff. Was that happening for you 4 years ago? Right? If you see Peg's TikToks and you steal one of her verbatim, you steal exactly what she says, you mock up her kitchen or her deck or by the lake where she lives, or whatever you want to do, and you could copy that word for word, you'll not have that result, because she put in those years and time of building and learning and sharing. So this is not instant gratification, but the whole idea is this investment is guaranteed to pay off if you hang in there long enough. It's guaranteed to pay off if you hang in there long enough.
Yeah. I just want to add to that, Paul. It's not just the time building that audience. It's the time building me. And I know that's what you're saying.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
And I think with people, if you don't have a community of people that you can get around right now, if you don't have those people, you can get a lot of benefit from reading.
Don't give all the secrets away. They can go to your page and start learning some of that stuff. So, we are business people, Peg.
Well, of course. And I feel like this could be a whole nother segment, is what we're all reading, discussing,
sure.
Maybe our top favorite books, but it's another way of exposing yourself
sure.
to someone who is in a great state of mind, and who has had success, or who has done the research for you, right? It gives you, it's like cutting a headline, right? So before you get to be around that people, before you find your bus of people,
right.
I think that's so. Angel, I'd love for you to share, and then we always say we're going to keep this short, so we should wrap up.
No, this has been fantastic. I love this conversation. I think this is one of the most hidden and unknown parts of joining a company or getting into home business or becoming an entrepreneur, that You don't really realize until you come into it. You don't get the growth. You don't get the personal development if you're not doing it. Like even for me, back, I would be in a bookstore and walk past the personal development section and be like, what's that? Like, who are these people that are doing that stuff? And now it's all I can get. It's all I can consume. I can't do fiction or anything like that. Like I just don't want to. If I'm going to be spending my time on something, it's become a hobby, right? It's become who I am and how I want to grow. I made a few notes when we were talking about the wins in the beginning. Learn to ride those wins. If you get a yes and you catch that first fish, like a 5-year-old kid, like Paul was saying, on a boat, if you get that feeling, don't just put that into a box and set it aside and say, I hope I feel that again. Take that and then go into another conversation and another day and another week, and just start that expectation that I'm going to catch a fish. Every time I'm on this boat, I'm going to catch a fish, and it's going to feel like this, and it's going to feel exciting. And this is easy. One of the top trainers in network marketing had posted a post last week, and it said, what's the hardest thing in network marketing? And my answer was, it isn't hard. I said mindset, because it shouldn't be hard. You should have the mindset that this is easy. I said network marketing. Sorry, I just said it again. So I hope we don't get it. But it should be easy. If you have the mindset that it's easy, it doesn't mean it's going to be easy. It doesn't mean that it's work, but work doesn't mean hard. Work doesn't equal hard. It shouldn't be hard work. It's work, but it's easy. And it's fun. And look at this life that we get to build because of it, right? Start to put yourself into circles that get you into that mindset that this is okay, this is fun, this is easy, this is different. You're going to be told it's different. You're going to be told you're weird. People are going to think you're in a cult. We've all heard it. We've all experienced it. Our families, some of them don't like us. It's okay. It's okay. People just pretend that we're not those people and still try to love us, and that's okay. And we do the same in reverse, right? So it's totally fine. But I also wrote down that other people's opinion, this goes right after that, other people's opinion of what you want to need in your life don't matter. So it's just like we say with our product that we promote, it's going to work different for everybody because it depends on where your body is at and what it needs. It's the same with when you start as an entrepreneur in home business. Where you're at and what you need is going to be different than the person who brought you in or the people that you're going to bring in, right? But other people's opinions of what you need and what you want, they just don't matter. And you have to drop that, because the quicker you can drop that and say it doesn't matter, they don't understand, they're not living my life, they're not paying my bills, they're not going towards my dreams. I have my own dreams, my own goals, my own set decision for my life. I'm creating my own life. You can love them, you can listen to them, but again, I've said this on other trainings, if you're getting opinions from people that you would not go to for advice, you can just nod and say, that's fine, have your opinion. And then the last thing I wrote down is that when we talk about leadership, you could get to your first rank and now you're a leader, because now you can lead a new person to that first rank. You could be in this business for a week or a month, and now you're a leader because you've been in this business for a week or a month, and you can share with somebody what you did, what were the steps you took, what are the things you're doing every single day. It doesn't mean that you've got to be at this level where people are celebrating you. What have you done and what can you teach people how to do? And that's what it always is. That is value. So when you're doing your content or you're speaking to your team or you're talking to people, or you share other people's stories, like we've talked about, right? Stories of success, testimonials, whatever it is, but you have value to give to people. So don't think that because maybe you haven't achieved what you think you should have or what you see other people doing, don't compare. And don't even compare yourself to what you think you should have done. Where you are right now is exactly where you're supposed to be. You have everything that you need to succeed in this business, and you can lead others to do that. And all the tools are here. And it's leaders like Peg and Paul that I've decided to partner with, because what we can bring to that's what it's about. It's about changing lives in a nutshell. So yeah. Thank you, Peg, for this. This was fantastic.
Well, thank you. I just want to share this really quick and take a screenshot of this because you've probably heard it before, but I think it's something really, it kind of wraps up everything that we're saying tonight, right? You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And it is so true. And it has changed my life. You guys have changed my life. And being, getting to work with you has been just nothing short of amazing. So just, what I encourage you to do is find a group of people, pick up a good book, get yourself around people who are lifting you up, who are seeing the greatness within you and encouraging more of it, not trying to bring you down to their level, but lifting you up, wanting the best for you. And that's what we all, I think it's something that is innate to what we do is we want the best for each other, right? So I cannot figure out how to stop sharing here for some reason.
Well, and I just want to reiterate for people too, Peg, that doesn't mean you could be living on the moon. That can be books, it can be movies, it can be trainings, it can be YouTube videos, it can be podcasts, it can be anything. Your 5 people do not need to be in your inner circle, touching you, feeling you, speaking to you every single day. Like it's just, that is what you choose for it to be. Pick your 5 people, your 5 voices. What are you going to listen to? And for me, one of them honestly is God, right? So that's always one of my top 5 inner circle voices that I listen to. And so think out of the box like we always do. It doesn't have to be, oh my gosh, I got to go find 5 people. And until I find those 5 people, then I don't have a good circle. No, start with what you need to consume. Fill your mind with things that are 5 different things that are growing you.
Yes. Thank you so much, Angel. And I just put a ticker at the bottom of the screen here. This is another place where you can find some good people to listen to get in your ear, get in your head. LionPrideAcademy.com. We've got some great trainings in there. So, and I also want to say you guys have a presentation tonight that is at 9 p.m. Eastern. If you would like to know more about what Angel and Paul and I do, you can tune into that. And we will see you next week. Everyone stay safe. There's crazy storms here where I am. And thank you again for tuning in. And thank you again, Angel and Paul.
Thank you, Peg. Thank you, Paul. Love you guys.
This was a good call. Bye-bye.